Okay guys, back with you on Wright's RR&T, Wright's custom side. I know it's been a couple days, we've been with you more consistent, and then now a few days is because I had to have some time to do some work. Kids are out of school, you know, holidays, the whole gig. Anyways, and we had to replace air sanders. That didn't go as smooth as we wanted. We ordered an Ingersoll Rand, or however you say the name. And something happened with the shipping, and then it said it got lost in shipping. And so we went a different route, and then they said it was still on its way. So then we had to cancel that because we already went a different route. So we're going to show you the route we went. We're going to go over some tech tip number 2 for body work, and a specific tool that I either don't see a lot of body techs or body men using, or paint guys, and I don't know if it's because they just aren't keeping up with the ways, the new times, the new tools, or if it's just they don't see any use for it. I find a use for it, and this is a tip that I'm going to give you from Wright's Customs on the Wright's RR&T channel. So we will show you our new sanding products. We will show you some other products that came in, where we got them, because some of these things are pretty expensive and I found them cheaper somewhere else. So we'll go over that as well. So here's the project. I'll show you, we started sanding out some of this edge here and getting rid of that nasty rust we showed you. There was definitely some rust pitting in here. We'll get up there and show you. I'm gonna go to the 1x zoom because I had you guys out at the 0.6, and if you see here, we got some good rust pitting going on in there that we're gonna have to deal with. That's where wire wheels and things can come in handy, things of that nature. Let's zoom you back out. We did some of the corner filler work. We touched it up. We did some work down here and stuff like that. As promised, we did this part. We painted it black, coming up and over on the inside and outside, along with touching up these fender wells. They will be painted green on the underside, but black on the inside of the engine. We came down here, and these were rusted out completely in here. As you can see, I'll show you around the back. You can see they were cut out because they were so rusted. And we welded in some washers. And then later we're going to take the plasma, slot them out. Just a hair, they slot back just a little bit. And then this for the corner panel, it is kind of a slight adjustment, you know, for the gap between the rocker and the corner panel. But this literally had nothing in place. So if you see here, like, I can, you know, that's on there, you know, it's not going nowhere. So, you know, it's in there good to go. It was even loose up in here, so we put a little plate up in there. We'll paint this black. We did all up underneath this. Both sides need a washer because both sides were rusted out. We're dealing with some of this rust we're going to have to get out of here when we jam it and all that. So anyways, then we're going to lead into our new sanding product. We decided to go to the Harbor Freight. Normally we don't buy tools there. Not that they don't sell a decent tool, I guess, but everybody's ranting and raving about this Baxter sanding series and saying that it's a decent sander, this particular palm sander in particular. But we decided to also buy the big boy, what I call the air file. People call them straight line sanders, air file, you know, whatever you want to call a damn thing. I call it an air file. But anyways, we went with that too. That was the last one in stock today. We got a whole ton of paper to go with it. 80 grit, 120 grit, and then the last roll of 240. We also, this is our money saver, is we have the parcel mask from the Home Depot. It's a parcel safety full face mask. The air filters are normally 50 bucks for them. For 2 carts with the charcoal canister. We went without the charcoal canister, the rebuild kit. We kept our charcoal canisters, but the pads like these get dirty in there, so we got extra pads. We still saved our charcoal canister, along with the kit here for 26 bucks on Amazon. You get 6 more cartridges, so 3 more setups. You get 3 more setups of the piece that goes to the mask that the canister screws in, with 3 more of these setups, and you get 6 sets of interchangeable pads to go with it for 26 bucks instead of 50. Now keep in mind, this is not the charcoal canister setup, so I kept my charcoal canister part, and I plan on using that. Hopefully it's still decent, and the pads filtered out majority of the stuff. But that was our money saver, half price for triple the amount. Good deal. So check out Amazon for parts for your face mask. Don't just think you can only get it, you know, where you bought the thing. So anywho, so this is going to really speed up our process, because normally we just use one of these guys, we hand block, but we're going to use a, I call it an air file, but we'll call it the straight line sander, as it says in the description. Now to our tech tip and trick of the day, or trick of, who knows, maybe the century, because I've never seen anybody doing this yet. Maybe they do and they just don't want to show you this trick. But this is the tip right here. You see this bad boy? It says Milwaukee. It could say rigid. It could say many other names, because we're not sponsored. This is just what I went with. And you see that right there? That's a triangle sander on a multi-tool, guys. This is what we have been sanding out this window edge with. This is also what we rounded around these corners nicely with, because it's a triangle, so it goes around those bends, and you still do a cross hatch pattern this way, then this way, right? But you can get good, decent results if you're really watching what you're doing as you're going. The reason for using this is while we were dealing with the debacle of the, the air sander debacle, and making a decision on going cheap for now, and then we're going to look into buying some more expensive sanding equipment down the road. We decided to use the triangle sander down here, and all this was shaped and buffed down with that, starting with an 80 grit, then going into a 120 for now. It's not done. What it does is it gets it knocked down and the edges feathered, and as long as you're being careful and you leave it just slightly high, then from here, what I'm doing tonight, later tonight, is I'll be taking my hand blocks and I'll be blocking this with hand, and I'll guide coat this a little bit as I do this on these body fills, and I'll perfect these. That way I don't have to come back, do like a high build primer, all this crazy stuff to refine it, and I'm going to refine it at the body fill phase. Then when I do the epoxy prime, I'll do 1 to 2 coats of epoxy primer, get it a nice good coat of sealing, and then we'll go straight into paint and clear coat and so forth. That way we're not building up a ton of layers of paint. That's not the goal here. Really, you just need a good primer base to put your paint on. That's you know, it's adhered good to the metal in this case, because we gotta go all the way to the metal. But say you had a high build or whatever, you went epoxy high build, and then you want to be that nitpicky about it, then you could do the high build, then your paint to a mechanical adhesion, which is basically a sandpaper grit scratch. And then you go paint and then clear coat. But the most important part of this whole painting process is to make sure you get good coverage with your primer, sealer, or primers, whether it be 1 or 2 phases of primer. Then you want to make sure your paint goes on. You're not, you know, getting striping, all that, you know, blotchy, any of the marbling, you know, modeling, whatever they want to call it. Anyways, you don't want to get none of the flaws, basically, right? But the most important part is your UV and your shell protection, which is your clear coat, the very end, guys. But being that said, every layer leading up to that is the most important, because that's where the orange peel comes from as well. So you have to prep really well. Then you need to put down a decent primer sealer or primer that's smooth. Tack rag any dust off it. Every layer of paint, tack rag, make sure the dust is off. Make sure there's no roughness to it. If you have any rough spots in your paint layer, buff them out with I'm using these just to kind of get somewhere, but get the gray or the red, you know, Scotch-Brite or, you know, wool pads. Buff out those rough sections, touch them up, you know, blend them in real quick with the paint that you already have. That way it's dealt with before the clear coat. Then go into your clear coat and you're gonna get better results. As long as you stay clean, you know, that's the thing. I'm painting in a shop with a booth made in the shop, because you guys seen the booth last year or the year before, and what we dealt with blowing around, and it broke, so I brought it all inside. It's a little smaller of a booth, but it's big enough to work with. But I'm just trying to show you, I wasn't willing to stand still, because I had a sander that can knock this down real quick, and it took a little longer, took a little more attention, but I also used the sander to get in these window edges. It's really nice. This is a very good tip. Always keep an open mind to the newer tools out. I haven't seen a video yet. If there is some body guys out there that are doing the same thing, please let me know, because I just haven't seen many videos. I'm putting one out there. I'm highly recommending it. And I actually highly recommend this sandpaper as well, because we have not used this before, but at Lowe's we found this. It works really well. Doesn't gum up real easy. I think it's because of that pattern going between the grit. Gives it like that. Plus it has, I'll show you some that are open here. Has like a hole pattern in it. So it's not completely closed off, with that little space between the sanding allows that dust to come out. This does not gum up easy. The Gator stuff, it's really good. So get a triangle sander, get some Gator paper. You'll save yourself a headache. You'll really love yourself in the end. I'll come over here, show you guys some more stuff we're dealing with. We come over here, we've been touching this up. We're down in here working on this. This bottom corner as well was a little dinged up. We're working over here. We got a washer in there. We got some fill in here just lightly. Blending out some welding and things like that. So it's not super thick. It's, you know, like we're talking about really thin, guys. It's probably 1/8 or less of an inch in there. It's not. That's why another tip we'll go over real quick before I do our saying goodbye to y'all is right here. When I was growing up, because I'll let you all know I'm 42. I'm not old at all yet. I don't consider myself old. But when I was 11 is when I was first introduced into doing body work, not painting, because as I've explained, I was not allowed to spray because obviously you don't trust an 11-year-old to paint a car for anybody. But I did some body work at 11 and 12 and so forth, here and there in between, on and off. But we used to use the pink, the red, you know, the red hardeners. We used, you know, regular body filler a long time ago. You know, I don't know if I was being taught wrong because the guy was cheap or what the gig was. Can't speak for the gentleman because he taught me right to a degree, and a lot of it I had to learn over the years too from other people and whatnot, but most of it just trial and error and doing it for so long, and obviously redoing things too. I'm not flawless, but now I don't use long strain and I don't use a bunch of fillers. I use 2 fillers, and of course you're gonna have like number 1 filler, 2, 3, this, that, blah blah, all this crap. I don't want to hear about it. People say all the time. Right here, Evercoat Glass Light short strain fiberglass reinforced filler. Okay, I have for a long time, I don't know, for a very long time, at least the last 10 years, I've used this. No longer red and pink. It comes out green. This is a green. You throw a blue hardener in it, and it turns out, you know, a greenish color when you're done. And then I don't use anything else but this right behind it. It's called Z-Grip Glaze, or any type of glaze putty. Evercoat also makes a glaze putty that's in a can. We had a can of it. I think I showed it to you guys. By using Evercoat glaze putty, this is actually one that I should have bought because this is what I've used before in the past. But you use this to fill in the imperfections of this, if you have any when you're, you know, you shouldn't have many in this. But if you do, and you have little pinholes or something comes out, use this to fix the imperfections of that. Don't buy any spot putty, because you can use this to spot putty as well. Any little dings, nips, chips, you can use this as well. People, whatever, spot putty. I think, you know, you can just put a little bit of that. I don't see why it's any different. It's good shit. You know, it's pretty thin, like a spot putty. I mean, there's not much of a difference. The only difference is this super thick. It's reinforced with fiberglass. They have long hair strains, short hair strains. I like the short hair strain. It's easier to work with. So if you're a beginner, use short strain. Don't mess with a long strain yet, unless you're patching like huge area. Then you're doing fiberglass patching and elsewise and going over it with this or metal and then this. But then you only need the short strain still. I've never really found a use for the long strain yet for me, because I'm not doing like camper shells and stuff like that. I've done a camper shell with it and a lot of fiberglass work. But anyways, this filler, you shouldn't need much more. Don't waste your money. 1, 2, 3, all these phases of filler. You can get by with these. And then primering and sealing them off and things like that. And then you'll get by. You don't need all that crazy. I don't know what these people are doing. Wasting a lot of money is what they're doing, guys. That's all I gotta say. But no hating, because, you know, they do it their way, we do it our way. Let's just put it that way. But if you want to save some money, get a really good job. Use minimal stuff. Perfect your techniques so the minimal, you know, will be good enough or more than good enough. And you know, roll with it, guys. And peace and prosperity to all, like we say. Down with the haters, up with the participators in life, as we need more positivity in the world. Soon enough, you'll see all this on that beautiful truck. And we'll be bringing in another project that we'll be talking about soon enough and showing you. Along with, we'll have another project that I'm lining up on the side of the other project that's coming in. Because we're like that, and we like to push harder every day. Because that Wrights Customs and Wrights RR&T, we believe in you push hard and success equals good things in life. So, enjoy your evening. You know, we'll be back with you with more work. We'll get these doors done. And we wish you all a Merry Christmas in a couple days, I believe it is. And we'll be back with you after the holidays and show you some more progress, because we work 7 days a week and 365 days a year if possible. On Christmas, we will do Christmas morning. I will be working through Christmas Day until dinner, and then I will be doing Christmas dinner. And I'm not saying that to get any sympathy or anything. That's the way I am. I work, and I fill in where I can the time I have allotted for my family as of right now, because, you know, it takes a lot these days to raise kids. And it's getting harder, guys. So, peace and prosperity to you guys. Have a good night, a good evening, and we'll be back with you in a few days with more progress.